Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Watchers live stream for this is April 22nd, 2024. Of course, my name is Garrett.
And I'm Kevin.
And we are your hosts. Feeling good to be here today. We got some fun stuff to talk about, as always, and can't wait to talk Wheel of Fate and all sorts of other stuff to talk about. So, but before we get into it too much, Kevin, how has the last week been for you? Kind of in between.
It's been pretty good. The NHL playoffs started this week, so that's what I'm grinding down on. I'm still trying to watch some Fallout, and I was going to say something else. Oh, I didn't watch too many movies this week. It was a busy week for me, finals at school and everything. So, but this week I'll try to do more than two.
Hey, there you go. But hey, you got to focus on the stuff that's important. So it is all good. As far as I go, the week was just about standard, kind of in between. I went to the movies, the actual movie theater, a lot more this weekend. So I will talk about that when we get to the kind of soapbox stuff. But let's go ahead and jump right in. We did have a comment here. Hey-o! From our good friend Nadia over at
I was going to ask, was it busy in your theaters when you went? Or
no, I went the two movies that I saw on Friday, well, I'll get to them. One was an indie release, so there was no one really there. The other was a movie that had been out for a while, and then I went to the biggest release this weekend, like earlier in the day. So there was no one there. But hello, Nadia. Hope you're having a fantastic night so far. Alrighty, let's go ahead and talk some of these stories. And first up, pretty big one that came out today. Tom Holland has seemingly confirmed we are getting a Spider-Man 4, but admits that it's going to be tough to follow the recent No Way Home. Of course, No Way Home, considered by many people to be one of the best, if not the best, Spider-Man movie, depending on who you ask. Just because of a kind of a way that it looked back at the past, but also looked ahead to the future in a really kind of unique way. And I don't know anyone that disliked the movie. So, I mean, we always kind of knew we were getting a Spider-Man 4. You know, he's one of the more popular characters in the MCU. All three movies are good, if not great, depending on which one. So, I mean, this is just, you know, it was a matter of time until something was confirmed. There are rumors, though, that Sam Raimi, who directed the original Spider-Man trilogy with not Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, will be coming back to direct this one, which is cool.
And I think Spider-Man has become like basically the number one superhero because of how good the movies have been. That's why. And credit to Sony and Disney because they both collaborate on this. But it really looks like they're trying to make this the best superhero experience out there, which I'm okay with. It is gonna be hard to top No Way Home, but you got to start somewhere after that big release.
Yeah, it's really going to be interesting to see what they end up doing for the story, obviously because of where things left off with No Way Home and the characters. And if you're the one person that hasn't seen the movie, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's just going to be really interesting to see what comes out. I would love to see them bring back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield again, maybe in some way, but who knows?
Yeah. All right, next is the original Blair Witch cast is asking retroactive residuals from Lionsgate due to the improper SAG and AFTRA representation at the time. How do you say that? Is it AFTRA?
It is SAG-AFTRA. SAG-AFTRA, sorry. SAG-AFTRA is the Screen Actors Guild. I'm not sure what the AFTRA stands for. Sorry, I'm not 100% on all my knowledge. I have let down so many people, including myself. But yeah, basically, they were all indie actors when the time the movie was made, and then it was a huge success. They didn't get the right contracts in place, so they weren't getting paid out essentially what they think is fairly.
But is that bad on their part or Lionsgate part? That's the thing.
That's what we're gonna have to figure out. I mean, obviously, no one's really taken a look at it yet. SAG hasn't really responded to anything. Lionsgate hasn't really responded to anything. This is all coming off the heels of the fact that they just announced a new Blair Witch movie.
Yeah.
And that the original cast wants some sort of aid from it, or they want to be consulted on future things going forward. So maybe it's marketing. Maybe they actually are upset. We just, we won't know until anything else comes out. But
yeah,
That's all we got right now.
Mm-hmm.
So next up, though, upcoming the Pixar movie Inside Out 2 apparently cut a whole emotional character Shame, from the film. Supposedly, they cut the character from the film because Shame just wasn't that fun to watch, according to Pixar.
Yeah, but it's an emotion. I'm kind of like teeter-tottering on this because it's Inside Out 2. We're getting anxiety and like a couple other
We're
ones.
getting anxiety. We're getting
Are we getting depression?
envy. No, we already have sadness. She's already there.
Oh, sadness. That's true.
We're getting anxiety and envy, and then we're getting embarrassment, which I think is probably their version of like redoing shame. Because like when you're embarrassed, you maybe feel a little bit of shame. And then we're also getting ennui, which is basically boredom. So
ennui? Is that what you say?
Yeah, ENNUI, I believe is what it's spelled as, which is a French word for boredom.
Oh, okay.
So, or something similar. I don't speak French, but yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, obviously you don't want to teach kids like that shame is necessarily too terrible, but you also don't want to say that it's okay. Like, it's a fine line to tread and how you write it. So I get wanting to cut it, and if it's not a fun character to watch in the film, then I trust them. Like, yeah, Pixar knows what they're doing for the most part now. So
very true. Yep, I agree with you. Scream 5 and 6 directors left the franchise to direct Abigail when the studio wanted to make Scream 7 more quickly. And they made really good progress on that because Abigail has, I think, been doing pretty well. I feel like I've heard nothing but good things about it. So, are they good for them?
Yeah, I mean the directing. I believe their like working name is Loading Ready. Not Loading Ready Run. It's like Loading Ready Run's a YouTube channel. I'm trying to think of what their actual name is. Like they have like a group name, but it's Tyler. Matt Bettinelli Olpin and Tyler Gillett, I believe, are the two directors' names. And I mean, they backed out to work on Abigail. I'm assuming that they also backed out because they wanted to work with Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera, who were not coming back for the 7th one for various different reasons. But obviously, I think they did hit a little bit of a success when it came to Abigail, which I'll talk about when we get to the review section. So, I mean, I want to see them just do more and be able to flex their legs and kind of direct what they want and not be confined to one genre. True. So,
can you hear the car alarm?
I can't hear anything in the background.
Okay, good. Okay, never mind.
If you can at home, we don't have a prize, but if you can hear it, it's there. Reminders that we are actually real people living in the real world and not just faces on the internet. Next up here, the upcoming Furiosa apparently features a 15-minute long action sequence that took 78 days to shoot. Holy shit.
So if it must be practical then.
I'm assuming they have some sort of visual effects touch-ups here and there. I mean, obviously the trailer looks like it's a lot heavier use of visual effects than Fury Road did, which for some people has been a massive disappointment. But I think that if it's going to be able to help get George Miller the visual style he wants to go for the film, then as long as it looks good, we'll see. But the fact that it took that 78 days is like 2.5 months. So like usually most productions are over. Like the entire shoot for a movie is over within 2 months.
Ooh,
this is like massive, but this movie's also been taking a while to come out. And so, I mean, I'm so here for this movie. I love Fury Road, and I just hope that it lives up in some way to the original. So,
if it's a good movie, I think I'll be satisfied with the movie.
Yeah, well, I can hear the car alarm just there, but it's all good. Hey, I win the prize.
Yeah. All right, and the Iron Claw will be on Max May 18th. Really, really, really good movie about old school wrestling and about family, pretty much. I'm not going to spoil anything because it is a very good movie that everybody should go watch at least once. I don't know about twice, but that's what I think.
Yeah, it's actually a really good movie. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did when we went and saw it. A really strong family sports movie. I wouldn't say it's as good as a movie like Moneyball, but I would say it's definitely in my top 10 sports movies. I just can't think of any others off the top of my head right now. Maybe in the top 5. I don't know, but it is good. But A24 does have a deal with Max, so a lot of their new release films are going to be showing up on Max pretty quickly, which means that, and if you haven't seen Civil War in the theaters yet, which you should because it's a great theater experience, it will probably be coming to Max sometime in the near future, just like the Iron Claw did.
Yeah.
So next up, Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver, is Zack Snyder's lowest rated movie ever, according to Rotten Tomatoes and other media aggregators. This comes on the heels that Zack Snyder has just said that this whole franchise could be 4 to 6 movies. God, I fucking hope not. Because like these movies are, we'll talk about it because I watched the second one and I'm not going to spoil what I think, but these movies are waterboarding. It is, yeah. Anyhow, I hope it's not 4 to 6 movies. I hope Netflix just takes that money and is like, you know what? Maybe we could pay our actors and writers more money and give it to them. I don't know. Stop hiring Zack Snyder. I'm sorry. Anyhow, do you have anything? Right. I mean, obviously, you haven't seen either of these movies.
I haven't.
You want to watch them just because you've seen my reactions to them.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I mean, yeah. I heard, like, I see like the trailer on TV and stuff, and it's like, okay, it doesn't look that bad, but it's like, those are trailers. They could look the best in the movies, not that great. So, and I know I'm not really I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm a Zack Snyder fan. So maybe I'm just going into it.
You're not a Zack Snyder stan? What the heck?
I don't even know what except for Justice League. I don't remember like what other movies he's made.
300, Watchmen.
No, Watchmen was
Sucker
okay.
Punch. Man of Steel.
No.
Zack Snyder's Justice League. He did Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice.
I saw that one. Don't remember it too well.
Man, I thought that was his worst movie, and Netflix had to go and do a deal. But anyhow, next up here.
Yep. All right, and Dune Part 3 is beginning running by Denis Villeneuve right now.
It is starting to be written, yes. Which is just, I mean, we knew this was going to happen. Dune Part 2 is just, it's crossing more milestones. It's getting close to, I think, $750 million, which is like 3 times what it made at the original box office for the first movie. So, I mean, like he said, though, as long as the story is good and he can get it where he wants it to be, it'll happen. And that's what the studios have said, too, which is huge. That the fact that the studios aren't just pushing for it. They're saying, get it right, do it right, and we'll do it.
Good.
So
that's what they should do. That's what they should do.
Exact way to do it. 100%.
Do you like how I spelled his name on our little cheat sheet over there?
I did. Yes. It's not an easy name to pronounce, for sure.
Yeah.
But Denis is a really cool guy, so he deserves it. All right, we'll take a quick break here and get to some of these comments real quick. Matt Walls, I felt Scream 6 was a good ending to the franchise. I thought it was a great movie. I don't know if it was necessarily an ending. I could see it being the last one. Because, I mean, unless there's like another family member, friend, ex-girlfriend, you know, whatever, that comes back and is like, you killed them! Like, and turns out to be another Ghostface. But I don't know. We'll see what the next one ends up being. I don't know if it'll be as good. Depends on who the director is and who the cast is. So.
Yeah, we just have to see. I just don't know where they're going to take it from here. That's the only part that I'm worried about.
Yeah. Our good friend Jose, shame is a way of life, so I cannot agree with this wholly initially. However, it is connected with anxiety and humiliation, so it may be better to spread out for other emotions. 100%. I mean, you know, shame is also tied, like it is a circle, right? Like you said, like they're all connected. Shame, anxiety, embarrassment, you know, even envy, you know, even sadness, like they all kind of coincide. So I think, like, you know, they could do something as a potential storyline where shame is just this overarching thing that happens when multiple emotions get involved or something. Who knows? There are better ways to do it. I'm not, you know, yeah, we'll have to wait and see how it is. Matt Walls, I like Zach as a director, but damn, I don't care for those Rebel Moon movies. I mean, like, no disrespect on Zach. I mean, making a film is very hard, and I want to make that clear. I'm messing around when I'm saying that he's all bad. I think Watchmen it's a great film. I love Watchmen, and I think that, like, Man of Steel is an underrated DC movie for sure. But like, most of his films are just style over substance, which rubs me the wrong way personally, especially with Rebel Moon. Like, the other movies pale in comparison to Rebel Moon. Like, the man does not know the word restraint at all. So, I hated the Batman versus Superman theatrical cut. I was the only person in the theater, and I was yelling at the screen for the BS that was going on. Good for you. Stand
awesome.
up, like, give him a round of applause. Congratulations, Matt Walls.
Yeah.
Like, I think the first time I saw the sequence when like, was it when Superman's like gonna get stabbed in the chest with the kryptonite spear that Batman's holding, and Superman's like, "Save Martha," and he's like, "Why'd you say that name?"
Yeah.
It's the stupidest. Oh god, I hate that movie. But I don't blame Zach for that. I think that's just a mixture of different things.
Yeah.
I don't blame him completely. He is the director for the film, so I will still blame him somewhat.
Yeah, somewhat.
Thanks for those comments, though. Let's go ahead and get back into the rest of the stories here. For those of you who are fans of the movie The Martian, that same writer, Andy Weir, has another book called Project Hail Mary, which is getting a film adaptation with Ryan Gosling that is set to be released on March 20th, 2026. This is going to be made by the directors of the Lego Movie, 21 Jump Street, and they're also the producers that brought the Spider-Verse to life. So really interesting that they're kind of going for a more serious film. You're not like something that's more funny or like, something that's more charming. I mean, you never know. Like, they could take the charming route with the movie. Who knows? I mean, but it is somewhat of a similar movie to The Martian, so maybe it'll finally give the directors, I forget, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, hopefully it'll give them some sort of award season potential, but we'll see. We don't know.
Was The Martian with Matt Damon when he's on
Mars?
Yes.
Okay. That's the one where he's stuck on Mars and he has to like actually plant stuff. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so next is The Strangers Chapter 1, marketing fully underway with The Strangers stalking around Coachella last weekend, which I always love when they put them into like when Smile did it for like they were at sports arenas and stuff like that. It really gets that name out there, and it's like it's so low key at the same time because it's not like in your face. It's like, did you guys see that? And like it makes you think about it, which I really like.
Yeah, and the photos are just really funny. It looks like an awkward family of three just standing in different places of Coachella, and then like, because they were like, all right, go stand over there. All right, put the mask on.
Yeah.
All right, just stand there menacingly. All right, we got the photo. All right, let's go over to that colorful tower. And and they, they weren't wearing the mask the whole time. Right? It's just really funny. But I guess they were also doing the same thing around South by Southwest, the film festival, a couple of weeks ago. So, I mean, it's some pretty clever marketing, and I love it when a movie does clever marketing, which we'll talk about when we get to the trailer section, because there's another one that's doing some clever marketing.
Yep.
But that's it for that story. This one is mine here. There is the Avatar: The Last Airbender animated movie that we announced, or that was announced. We don't announce things. But it was announced last week. That has been delayed a year to 2026. No reasoning given, but could be anything, maybe a shakeup in animation or cast or something. But Transformers 1, the new animated Transformers movie, has been pushed back just a week. Maybe to like not compete with a film, or just because they wanted to push it back. Again, no reasoning given, unfortunately. But I mean, these happen. I mean, luckily we're not in the era of the strikes anymore, so we're not seeing year delays for films. But I mean, those of you who are fans of Avatar, the Airbender one, not the blue people one, like, I'm sure this is, I'm sure if it's the same cast or like the same kind of situations as the show, I'm sure you're kind of upset to see it delayed and getting more of the live action. And then the Transformers, I mean, it's fine. It's just a week.
It's just 1 week. You can wait 1 week. Save that money for the good popcorn that they have. Maybe get a beer because you saved the money for it. So
yeah, maybe they get like a nice little popcorn bucket.
Oh yeah, specialty
little
popcorn
appa or
bucket.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. The cast and crew of Fall Guys are pushing for a stunts Oscar after film breaks stunt records. Yes, absolutely. It is
not Fall Guys. It is the Fall Guy.
I always do that.
We're not doing the video game. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, everyone in the industry has been pushing for a stunts Oscar for so long. Stunts are not nominated at any award show, as far as I'm aware. Not even the Academy's Sci-Tech Awards. which is really like it's embarrassing. Like stunt people do so much in film,
yeah.
and this film obviously celebrates stuntmen because the movie or stunt people because the movie is about a stunt person. And they actually just did break the record that was held by Casino Royale, where the car did the most amount of like
Flips,
like barrel
rolls, yeah,
and like naturally, not like assisted. And they
Mhm.
broke that record on this film. So
That's crazy.
yeah,
I mean, it's gonna be a great when the Oscars or somebody else picks up these stunt awards. It's gonna show a lot of people that a lot of like viewers like you and me appreciate what they do on a day-to-day basis.
yeah, and I mean, we got a casting Oscar. That makes the number of awards odd. Just give a stunt category. It's
Mhm.
fine. I think maybe a lot of people may be worried that they would give like that means that a movie like John Wick would win an Oscar, but like it deserves it for stunts. Like
Yeah, but it's not one of the big ones that they're worried about. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
just give the stunt people their stunt awards. That's all we're asking. I didn't know it was going to be this hard.
Yeah, I mean, just do it. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Next story up, though, sad news, unfortunately. Quentin Tarantino has canceled his last film, The Movie Critic, is not moving forward with it as of right now. No reasoning why, given from Mr. Tarantino, but it will not be his next and final film, which I guess it could be that. Tarantino has said that it's his 10th film, and it will be his last. So, I'm sure he wants to go out with a bang and do something that like really speaks to him, or is just like, maybe has a little bit of that like hesitation, like, oh, maybe I don't want to do that for my last one. So I get it. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's something completely different, but I'm sad we're not going to get it.
It sounds like an interesting concept. Like, where is he going to go? Is he going to go through a movie critic that's horrible and doesn't like movies just because his movie was bad and was ridiculed? Or is it just a movie critic who loves going to the movies but gives different ratings for these things? So it leaves everything up in the air. So I actually want to see it because everybody has a critic of something. So
yeah. There is now an alternate reality out there somewhere where this movie has come out with the and like exists, which makes me upset that we're not going to get to see it.
Yeah.
But next up here,
all right, Steven Spielberg is working on a new UFO movie based on an original idea. I can read.
Which
interesting. Yeah. Give it. I'm okay with this.
I'm all here for it. Spielberg for me is 3 for 3 on alien movies. Started with Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which is just one of my favorite movies of all time. I got E.T., obviously the family classic, and then you had War of the Worlds in 2005, which was definitely more of not a horror movie, but it was more scary and more dark. And so like he's done the gamut of UFO movies. So I'm interested to see what this ends up being.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go see it. It's like that sci-fi, even if it's like a sci-fi movie where they beam him up and take him to the airplane or something like that. Or he could go the horror route. He hasn't really done any horror movies like this like 10 years, right?
He's never really done a horror movie. I guess you could say Jaws is in
or
a little bit in the horror category. Yeah, I mean, like I would love to see something like X-Files. Make it like a little bit more of a suspense thriller, like But obviously, we don't know what that idea is until we get it from him. So, and I trust him. It's Spielberg after all.
Yeah, true.
Next up, part one of the two-part Martin Scorsese story this week. First part up, Martin Scorsese is hoping to make a Frank Sinatra biopic with Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence. I don't know how I feel about this. Leonardo DiCaprio looks nothing like Frank Sinatra. So I'm hoping it's not Leo DiCaprio. I mean, I love Leo, but he doesn't scream Frank Sinatra to me. Jennifer Lawrence is fine. I love seeing her in any movie she's in. She's a great actress. So like, and Leo's good too, but like he just doesn't look like the character or of the person.
And sometimes that takes you off of the movie when he doesn't look like the person that he's supposed to look like. Yeah,
exactly. It's just, it can be distracting. It's kind of like, I imagine the situation would be like the Won't You Be My Neighbor, which is the movie about Mr. Rogers that had Tom Hanks as
Oh,
Mr.
yeah.
Rogers, where he knocked it out of the park, but you just see Tom Hanks. You don't
Hanks.
see Mr. Rogers. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it could be good, it could be not. I know the Sinatra family is not happy with the casting of Leo DiCaprio, if that isn't what ends up being. So that's interesting. But
yeah,
we'll have to wait and see.
All right, Miles Teller and Andrew Garfield are reportedly being eyed for Martin Scorsese's Jesus movie.
I don't know why I capitalized the M. It's not Jesus movie like a scary movie or an epic movie. that'd be really funny if we got a religious spoof film. But I mean,
sure.
Martin Scorsese for a while he's announced that he's doing a movie based on Jesus, which he'd already done before. So I don't know what territory he wants to retread with this. But Miles Teller in it, I don't know. At what point are we actually going to finally do a historically accurate Jesus who's not white? I don't know.
Like, have you seen some of the memes where they had a Jesus TV show on the TV, but he was incredibly all the girls were like, oh my gosh, Jesus is hot and stuff, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. So hopefully it's not going to be like that, but it probably will because it's Miles Teller. So.
I mean, I could see Andrew Garfield doing it. I don't think I could see Miles Teller doing it. Because Andrew Garfield has done not similar movies, but I don't know. I feel like he'd be just better. If I had to pick one of the two, it'd be Andrew Garfield. But
yeah, we'll see.
Exactly. We'll see. That's the tagline of the show. But that's it for the news stories this week. We had a couple more comments. Let's go ahead and jump into it in here. Matt says Superman was a bitch in Batman vs. Superman. That's the last thing I'll say about that.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm not gonna argue with it. Instead of Transformers 1, call it Transformers Done. I mean,
I think it'll be interesting because it's not
a live
action. They can go wherever they want.
But we'll talk about it when we get to the trailers. I don't think the movie looks good. I was excited for that movie. I was like, holy shit, we're going to get one like the 80s animated Transformers movie. And we didn't. So definitely not looking forward to that at all. Quentin should have done that R-rated Star Trek movie he was supposedly working on a couple of years ago. I agree. I just don't know how he would do it. I mean, you could do R-rated Star Trek, but yeah, I don't know. I know he wasn't even seriously considered. I think he was just writing it. He didn't have a plan of directing it at all, from what I remember. And Close Encounters of the Third Kind is a GOAT tier movie. Yes, it is. Every time I see a Piggly Wiggly 18-wheeler, I always think of the movie. Such a good movie and an incredible John Williams score. So, alrighty. Well, that is it for the comments. Let's go ahead and jump over into, excuse me, we had talked about already, the trailers that came out this week. So, Kevin, what stuck out to you? What have you watched any of them? What are you thinking?
The first 5 are all going to be incredible. I mean, Deadpool versus Superman. I was going to say Deadpool and Wolverine looks really funny in a Deadpool movie, so I'm cool with that. Trap looks very interesting, so I definitely want to see that, and as well as Long Legs looks it's I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. The Watchers is another one that is gonna be on my radar to go see, just the eerie vibes of it. And right before we got on, I watched Transformers 1 and I was disappointed.
Yeah, it looks too kid-like.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could have made it a little bit more all ages. I will say for me, I think the best trailer of the week, I think there's 2 of them. I think it's Trap. Trap looks really interesting. If you haven't watched the trailer yet, I'm not going to spoil they show the big twist in the trailer, which I know there's going to be another one. Yeah. But they show the twist in the trailer and I'm not going to spoil it. And then Long Legs is quickly becoming my most anticipated movie of the summer, just because of its marketing.
It's just it's giving us nothing.
The trailers are creeping me out, and that's a good sign. Yeah. But as far as Transformers 1, disappointing. The Watchers does look good, so I will give it that. And then Deadpool and Wolverine, maybe it was just that trailer, but I wasn't impressed with the second trailer. Now, I think that they're probably leaving all the really good stuff for the movie, which is what they should do. But the trailer itself, it wasn't as good as the first one, I don't think. I feel like there's a good mix of the two trailers somewhere out there you could make, but that's just me. But anywho, that is it for the trailers that are coming out, or that came out, excuse me. And obviously a lot of indie movies and stuff too that we don't really get to see a whole lot. So, Matt, our kids today even in Transformers? I've seen a couple. Kevin's sister is a huge fan of Transformers.
Oh yeah,
but she's not a kid. But
when you go to Universal, a lot of people do meet and greet with Optimus Prime and stuff like that. So, but they need to redo that Transformers ride. It's too dumb.
Yep, and they just bring back the backdraft attraction. They're great. But yeah, I mean, I feel like enough are the movies make money. So
like I'm like a casual fan. I know of all like the big ones, and I'll go see the real action live ones. I will probably go see this movie, but am I excited for it? No.
Yeah, I'll definitely go and see it, but like I don't know if I'll be happy that I went and saw it. But anyhow, let's go ahead and switch gears to talk about the movies that we watched over the last week. Kevin, you only watched 3 over the last week, so why don't you just go first and talk about what you've been watching?
I thought Sting was last week.
It was not on the script for last week, but
oh really?
Maybe it was. Well, in any case,
Weird Science. This is just a cool 80s movie that I thought Nadia thought would be funnier. I thought it played to its role. It's 2 geeky guys who make up a hot girl that does stuff, and I won't spoil it for you. Go watch it. It's pretty funny if you like 80s comedy. But it did leave a little bit more to desire at the end. And then the other one that I watched was A League of Their Own, which is the Wheel of Fate one that I think who gave it to me, Jose? Andrew?
I believe it was Jose.
Name? Jose? Okay, I had it right the first time. And this was really good. I thought I wasn't gonna enjoy it more than I did, especially because it's a history baseball movie. I didn't know it was that, so knowing the backstory of it was really nice. And every actress in that movie plays their role very well and diversifies themselves from everybody else. So I understood who everybody was and what they did. And is there not a movie in the 90s that Tom Hanks isn't in? Like, I saw his name pop up. I'm like, he's in this movie. And then I didn't like how he portrayed a coach, because all he was doing was yelling at them half the time. Coaches don't really yell at you all the time while playing baseball. I used to play baseball. It's like, it's more encouraging than yelling. So I didn't really like that aspect of it, but it was still very, very good movie.
Alrighty. And if you want to see any reviews from Kevin's, you can go over to his Letterboxd, Kevin Hanna 12, right there at the bottom of the screen, which is always at the bottom right there as well. But let's go ahead and jump into the long list of movies that I had to watch. But beforehand, looks like we did have a compliment here. Jose says, League of Their Own is one of my personal 5 of all time.
Good. Yeah, it is very good. And especially with the history behind it of them going to war and they had to make baseball a sport again. And it got so much attraction. It was very, very cool to see.
Yeah. It's kind of also a little bit prophetic, maybe, because like we're seeing the rise of women's basketball right now.
Oh yeah,
so, I think it's a really good thing. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and talk about the movies that I watched over the course of the last week. And I started out a little bit of a binge. One of my favorite anime directors, Makoto Shinkai, has his film collection on Criterion right now. So first I watched up his short, She and Her Cat from 1999, gave it a 70 out of 100. I thought it was a really sincere little short about a cat. It's from his perspective about his owner. It's not like a super good looking anime, but it definitely feels more like a student film, but like it feels better than a student film. So if you have the chance, it might be on YouTube. It's only like, I don't know, less than 10 minutes. It's a good little watch. Would recommend it. Yeah. After that, I watched Life Itself. Life Itself is a documentary about the film critic Roger Ebert, who is a personal hero of mine. And this was a really hard watch in many ways. I laughed. I definitely teared up and cried during this movie. Basically changed the face of movies as we know it. It's a very good documentary. There's a lot of footage of him before he ended up passing away, and how rough his physical condition was before the end. So that's why it is kind of hard to watch, especially knowing some family members who have gone through similar-ish things. So it's definitely a little bit of a harder watch, but it is a fantastic documentary. If you love movies like I do, which is pretty obvious that I love movies, but I would recommend watching it 100%. It's free on YouTube right now, if you have YouTube Premium, I think. Mm-hmm. After that, I watched Dream Scenario, the Nicolas Cage movie from last year. And I think that this movie is just mediocre. It's pretty misguided. I gotta say, though, Nicolas Cage is fantastic in this movie. One of his best performances that I've ever seen. And the film really has two big issues, though. The first is it has a ham-fisted attempt at an anti-cancel culture message, which doesn't feel genuine. It just kind of feels like pushed into the plot to try and make it more interesting, and to maybe fill out its runtime a little bit. Mm-hmm. Also, the ending I'm not very happy with. It takes a little bit of a twist, a little bit of a turn, and just it's not a satisfying enough ending to me. And so, unfortunately, I did give it a 61, but it's still you may like it, and you may like it more than I did. So it is on Max now, and you can check it out. After that was the second Makoto Shinkai movie I watched, which is Voices of a Distant Star. This was about a 40-minute short film right around there. And this movie was very, very disappointing. I sing the praises of Makoto Shinkai. This movie is ugly. This movie does really nothing in its runtime. It just kind of waxes poetic. It's literally humanity is so hard pressed for soldiers to fight against aliens that they have to get schoolgirls and put them in really bad looking Gundam ripoffs and shoot them into space. And she's just sitting there in her mech, waxing poetic about this boy she forgot to tell that she loved him. It's really not that good. It's an ugly one. I don't know. Interesting premise. And maybe if it had a bigger budget and didn't go the mech route, it could be good, but just really wasn't interesting at all. Okay, here's the big one. Mm-hmm. First movie from 2024, Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver. This movie sucks. If anyone says this movie is good, they don't listen to them. I'm just kidding. All movie opinions are valid. But this movie is so bad. If you cut the slow-mo out of this movie, you'd probably lose about 30 minutes of footage. They have slow-mo for sequences where they are harvesting grain. There's no reason for it. This is the only movie that I can think of where the studio should have been giving him notes. You should cut this out. Producers should have stepped in, but no one's going to touch him because he has his little fanboys who love the Snyder Cut so much. And he wants to make a movie all he wants. It's not good. It's a cheap knockoff of the material, even more so than the first movie. It's a ripoff of 40K. It's a ripoff of Star Wars. It's not original at all. Don't watch these movies. Stop making it number one in Netflix's thing, and we won't get more of them. We don't need 6 Rebel Moon movies.
Hey, Garrett, before you move on to the next one, I have a very important question to ask you.
Yes.
Would you watch In Orbit or Rebel Moon Part 2?
I would rather watch Rebel Moon Part 2.
Okay. Continue.
I mean, at least that one has people who are trying in it. Okay. I'm just messing around. Let me go ahead and see here. Next up was Sasquatch Sunset, a new release this weekend. This is the indie film I was talking about earlier. This is a movie I was really looking forward to, and I walked out pretty disappointed. And it may take another viewing for me to fully grasp what the movie is going for. But for me, it just kind of failed in a lot of places. It was kind of nice that the cast is really good. They really commit far more than they should, but they are really all in on the bit, and they're doing a good job. And also the costume and makeup effects are great in this movie. So hands off to them. The music's also really good too. Like, it's just music I'm going to listen to on the side. But I think the humor of this movie is just not very good. It goes for a lot of like gross out humor and gag. It's just not funny. Like, there's 2 funny sequences in the entire movie. One including a road. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. And the other one, there's literally a part where the female one is pregnant and she's about to give birth, and the other one like walks off a couple feet behind her and braces like a baseball catcher. Like, that's kind of funny. But like, other than that, it falls flat. They're going for some really absurdist stuff here, some kind of esoteric. It just doesn't work for me personally. There's a lot of people who really seem to like it, and all power to you if you do. It's just, for me, it didn't hit. But what I really walked away respecting from the film, though, is it felt like these are 2 directors that went out into the woods with their friends and made a movie because they wanted to. And I really respect that. And, you know, maybe that's the poignancy I was looking for the film all along. But who knows? That same day, I went and saw Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, and this movie was disappointing as well. Got some good monster fights, but that's about it. You know, I do my best to not compare this to Godzilla -1 because it's an unfair comparison. But we got so much better written characters a couple months ago. Why is there any excuse to not make characters that are interesting at all? Like, at least Dan Stevens, who plays like Trapper, I think is the character's name. He's fun.
He's really good. He's like the star of that whole thing.
And Brian Tyree Henry's character, who's like the conspiracy theory guy, he's funny, but like, I really don't like how they make conspiracy theory characters heroes in movies, especially ones like that. But like, it's just really kind of like, all the other characters don't care. There's literally an adopted family storyline in this movie that was done better in December with Godzilla -1. So it just, the villain, Scar King, the big like orange looking ape, he's cool.
Really cool. Really cool.
He's pretty intelligent. He's kind of ruthless, but he's like, they introduced him way too late into the movie. And it's just not interesting. There's also Shimo. I don't care about spoiling this shit. Shimo's the big white like frost dragon thing, and they're like, oh, that's cool. It's like a frost dragon thing. And then literally he's just Kong's dog by the end of the movie. It's really I don't know. The movie's not that good, but I will say, still put a smile on my face when big monkey hits big lizard. So I mean, it's also slightly better than Sasquatch Sensei.
Were you surprised about? Well, we're spoiling this. Mothra coming out, because I didn't see Mothra
in the trailer. People knew she was coming back.
Oh, I didn't see the
trailer. I thought Mothra got a lot more to do in this movie. She wasn't in it for very long, but like, she got a lot more to do, and she was really cool. So I like Mothra as a character, and then she's like a peacekeeper. So you know, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
After that, on Saturday, I went and saw Abigail, new release. This is a fun and delightfully twisted movie. If you haven't had a chance to see it yet, I would recommend it. It's really fun. It's really bloody. It doesn't take itself seriously at all. You know, it feels like they wanted to have fun with the vampire formula, which is just so overloaded with movies and just junk now. Like, this feels fresh. I mean, the only thing is that the tone is a little inconsistent. It doesn't go full horror. It doesn't go full comedy. It just kind of flirts with both of those genres and doesn't really carve an identity of its own. It doesn't feel like a necessary film that you should watch. I mean, obviously any movie's necessary because it gives people jobs and everything, but like, it's not like a necessary viewing. Like, you know, this isn't up there with Bram Stoker's Dracula or like, you know, Nosferatu or any like vampire movie that's really highly regarded. It is good, but it's not like an incredible one. The girl who plays Abigail, Alicia Weir, fantastic. She's great. Melissa Barrera, I love her in lead roles. She needs to do more than just horror, though, which I learned after writing the review that she did In the Heights, which is a musical. So I do want to watch that and see how she is in it.
Oh, she was?
Yeah, apparently. With the guy who's in Transformers Rise of the Beasts, Anthony Ramos. So also Dumb Money from last week. And then Dan Stevens, who was in Godzilla X Kong, is in this movie too, and he's probably the best part of it. So
okay.
I will say the writing is like the characters are really good, the writing's good. There's only one character you really don't give a shit about, and it feels unfortunate because it's the actor that passed away recently. His character is awful. And I'm not saying that's his fault. It's probably the writing for the character, but I just did not care about that character at all. But yeah, it's fun. I think if you go to see it, you will have fun. So
good.
After that was Deep Sky, which I went and saw with my roommate yesterday, which is the 40-minute IMAX documentary that's out right now about the James Webb Telescope, which is the replacement of sorts for the Hubble telescope. We actually get to see further into the universe than ever before. So you get to see some really fascinating footage and some images and things like that. And it is a really beautiful documentary, inspiring too. I will admit that like it does feel like something you would just go see at like a science center or like in a science class. Like it doesn't feel like, I need to go to IMAX to go see this movie. It's like it would be something on YouTube or like on NASA's website. It doesn't really need to be a theatrical release. So it doesn't really just feel that necessary for me. But I will admit, like I'm a huge sci-fi nut. I want to see humanity go and explore space. So like when they touch on those things and you see the images for the first time, which I had never seen before, I got a little teary-eyed. It's cool. I like that shit. And lastly is my Wheel of Fate movie. Kevin had A League of Their Own, and I had Case 39, which I did end up giving a 23 to, which I'm actually really disappointed. Like, not disappointed in the movie. I'm disappointed, I am disappointed in the movie because I was really excited to watch it. I was genuinely excited to watch it. I was actually going to watch this on my own, and then it did end up winning for me. And I just felt let down. Like, there was a much better Evil Child movie that I watched earlier, like a couple weeks ago, in Orphan, which I would rather watch Orphan 10 times over again than Case 39. Case 39 to me personally, and if you like the film, I'm not dumping on your opinion or anything, but like for me, it just was boring. It just didn't do enough. Renee Zellweger is just not really that good of an actress, in my opinion, at least from what I've seen her in, and I don't feel like she carries this movie very well. Bradley Cooper's in it, which is cool. We got Rocket Raccoon, but even he's not in it that much. Like, it's just, I don't know. I'd rather watch The Omen or Orphan or something else that just is better. And again, it's just boring. I just kind of sat there. It's also really long. Like 2 hours, I feel like was way too long for this movie. I hate to say that shorter, like it needs to be shorter, because I don't agree with it saying that movies need to be short, but like this should have been like an hour and a half, hour 40, and it would have been fine. I was definitely checking my watch, checking my phone with like 20 minutes left. So, but it's not the worst horror movie I've ever seen for sure, but it's also it wasn't very scary. It just wasn't very interesting, and it was kind of boring. Okay. I'm glad I watched it though. I'm glad that it won, and I finally got to actually check it off my list, but it just did nothing for me personally.
Gotcha.
But that's it. Thank you for listening to me rant about those for a while. But if you want to see anything else I've written, you can go to my Letterboxd here, Garrett_O'Keefe, and you can see it pretty much all over Letterboxd. There's over 1,000 movies on there that I've reviewed, so that's about it. But we did have some comments that came in, kind of where we were doing here. Since y'all watched Vertigo, I rewatched Rear Window for the 50th time. The only thing wrong with the movie is like 7 minutes of the movie. Alfred, to me, has a hard time ending his movies. That's actually a good point. We didn't really bring that up in the Vertigo video, but the ending is pretty abrupt.
Yeah, it is.
But
it kind of gives you that Vertigo feeling, like when he's in the mental hospital, and it abruptly goes to when he's out of it. So I can understand it.
Yeah, it's like I feel like Vertigo has a better ending than Rear Window. Maybe
I think so.
I need to rewatch Rear Window for sure. But yeah, thanks for the comment on that one. I heard Nick Cage might be coming back for a third National Treasure movie. I sincerely hope so. Nick Cage is a great actor.
I love those movies, even though how stupid they are. I love them.
I think they did a TV show on Disney Plus with a different character, but she's related to him. So hopefully that there's some sort of connection to a possible third movie. Would love to see it.
That would be cool.
5 out of 100 is too high for Rebel Moon. I don't know. Like, as far as what could give its point, I think, like, was it Jamin Hansu? Or Jaimin Hansu? I forget. I don't know how you pronounce his name. I'm so sorry. But he plays like the General Titus, I think is his name. He was also in Guardians of the Galaxy and a couple other movies. He's a good actor, and I think he's the best out of everyone. And I like his presence in the movie. And I think his presence and Anthony Hopkins' voice as the robot. There's your 5 points. That's it.
That's all I'm giving you.
Yeah. I mean, I gave the first one a 40. because like the first one I had some like I think the first one is slightly better. Actually, it's not even slightly; it's way better. So, Matt Walls, Godzilla X Kong, respectable score. Most Godzilla movies are 3 to 4 out of 10. -1 was The Anomaly. It's a 9 out of 10.
I agree.
I don't know about most Godzilla movies being a 3 to 4 out of 10. It depends on the category, like the definition of most. Because I feel like the original is a fantastic movie. The 2014 Godzilla, I think, is really good. And then, I mean, King of the Monsters and Godzilla vs. Kong weren't terrible either. They were in like the 50-60 range. So I don't know. Like, I don't know if I necessarily with that. And I'm sure a lot of the movies are actually pretty like nostalgic in some way. Like, I hate the 1998 Godzilla movie, the American one, but like,
oh yeah,
it's still nostalgic and kind of like it kind of warms me up inside. Like the Jurassic Park fan inside me loves the whole part in Madison Square Garden. So, I mean, there's like 38 movies. I have an actual list of how many movies there are, because I have a list of like all the Godzilla movies. There are 36 Godzilla movies. You're very close.
Wow, that was close, Matt.
And yeah, very, very close. Very close indeed. Alrighty, let's go ahead and switch over to the movies that are coming out this weekend. Actually, is that on the list? No, it is box office figures.
Yeah, box office.
I love how they're I'm going to change the order on the thing here. Alrighty, take it away, Kevin.
Civil War #1, no surprise there. With 11.1 million. Abigail thought it was going to be #1, wasn't. Came up a little bit short, 10.2 mil. Godzilla vs. Kong, 9.5 mil. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, 9 million. Respectable. And Spy X Family Code White, with 4.9. So it knocks out Ghostbusters, who is still playing like 17 times at our movie theater for some reason.
And knocked off Dune as well. Which
Dune too, yeah.
Honestly surprised to see Spy X Family on here, which, I mean, I love the show, so I'm very happy to see it. I have to go see the movie still, but it is what it is. I did have to point it out because I did pick up a couple of movies over the last week for my collection, and one of them is actually a Godzilla movie. I picked up King Kong versus Godzilla.
Oh,
because it was like 8. This was a 60.
Where'd you get that at?
I got it at Barnes and Noble. 1963. Yeah, this was like $7. So I was like, you know what? Hey, fine, whatever. I picked that up with Breakfast at Tiffany's, which are the two most different movies that I think any one person could buy. And I think the cashier was giving me the stink eye for it.
Yep. He was judging you.
Yeah, he was just like looking up and down, like, okay. Yeah, I mean, Civil War holding first place, awesome. I mean, it's well on its way to earning back its $50 million budget. And I mean, that's not including overseas though, so I'm curious to see how much it's made already. Abigail opening really strong, 10.2. It was neck and neck with Civil War, and Godzilla holding on. Godzilla X Kong. It's actually it's getting close to $500 million already. So doing really well overseas. I think in China it's doing really well.
Good.
I got some more comments here. Nadia says, I'm AFK, so I'm typing Wheel of Fate movies now. Okay, cool. Alrighty. What does that mean for Garrett?
I'll do that one. If it lands on me, it's for you. That's.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
got you. Matt Walls, King Kong vs. Godzilla was the first monster I ever watched. Well, it'll be one of like the first Showa era movies that I watched, so that's what's going to be really fun. I think it's Showa era. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong. Or Heisei. I'm not too up to date on what the different the different eras are. Excuse me, couldn't speak for a second. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the movies that are coming out this weekend. So up first, we have Challengers. Very much looking forward to this movie with a really strong Metacritic score of 88 from its premiere.
Ooh, okay.
This has got Zendaya in it. Tashi, a former tennis prodigy turned coach, is married to a champion on a losing streak. Her strategy for her husband's redemption takes a surprising turn when he must face off against his former best friend and Tashi's former boyfriend. So it's a little bit of a love triangle. Apparently, Zendaya is looking pretty much close to Oscar worthy in this one. So very excited to check this one out. It does look really good. Up after that is Boy Kills World, a fever dream action film that follows Boy, a deaf person with a vibrant imagination. When his family is murdered, he is trained by a mysterious shaman to repress his childish imagination and become an instrument of death. This movie just looks so absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And it's narrated by the guy from Bob's Burgers, H. John Benjamin, and Archer.
I'm so sorry. I cannot get his voice out of my head. Every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, it's Bob's Burgers. So I'm like, I don't know. Like,
I just hear Archer. Is all I hear.
Archer, yeah.
Yeah. Which is great. I mean, Archer voicing an action hero. Up third is Unsung Hero. The movie also this is weird. This is the official IMDb thing here. The movie also follows the family's mother, Helen Smallbone, as she uses her faith to hold the family of 9 together by turning struggles into an adventure for her children. This does have something to do with like For King and Country. Like, I guess there's some music act out there. So if you've heard of them before, they have a movie coming out. Somewhat autobiographical, I guess. And finally, we are getting the 25th anniversary showing for The Mummy, one of my favorite adventure movies of all time.
With Tom Cruise. Yay.
No, this is Brendan Fraser. At an archaeological dig site in the ancient city of Hamunaptra, an American serving in the French Foreign Legion accidentally awakens a mummy who begins to wreak havoc as he searches for the reincarnation of his long-lost love. This movie's great. I want to go see it for this 25th anniversary. We're also getting Alien as a 45th anniversary re-release, so very excited about that as well. And so some fun stuff coming to theaters that has already been out, but hey, I'm not going to complain with it. It's a good way to see movies you haven't seen before or haven't seen for a while. It's a lot of fun to do. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get some more comments here. Eddie from Vance Something. What did I miss? You missed all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
No,
I turned over my bed. What? Huh? Hi, Eddie.
Saw challengers tonight. Zendaya is great. Not Oscar worthy, though. Ooh. Interesting. It's the opposite from what I'm hearing. But hey, thank you for letting us know. Still very excited to see it. I don't look at Zendaya the same way after seeing trailers for challengers. She's doing a good job then. The Mummy is a damn good movie. Yes, it is. Very much underrated.
With Tom Cruise. Yep, I agree.
And I think there's some confusion going on as far as what people are saying about beds getting turned over. I don't know.
No.
Alrighty. But that is going to bring us to an end for the normal part of the show. And we are getting into our Wheel of Fate. So we actually already have some from Nadia because she is AFK. So let's go ahead and get those on the screen here. We got Return of the Living Dead. Make sure to go ahead and get in those suggestions for what you want us to watch over the course of the next week. Well, really good chances of getting something here. If you put in as many movies as Nadia has, maybe it'll get picked. But Nadia is our reigning champion. So Village of the Damned. We got One Missed Call. Chopping Mall. And Little Man. All right, we got Homeless in America. Eddie coming back in with it again. And Origin. Still didn't get to watch that this week, so hopefully the chance here. Total Recall. Actually, I hope I get that because I own it and I haven't rewatched it in a while. Batman and Mr. Freeze. Interesting. Always can count on Joey for the good, or Jose for the very good closet like animation picks that you wouldn't like necessarily think of. Sub-Zero. Oh, Mr. Freeze, Sub-Zero. And then Glory. Glory is a long movie, but a good one. Ice Station Zebra.
That sounds interesting.
Can't say I've heard of that before. Glass Bottom Boat. Alrighty, we'll go ahead and give it another minute or so. Make sure you get those in here. Mask of the Phantasm is a very good one. I have already seen it and reviewed it, but Kevin has not.
Nope.
Actually, I own it, so if you want to borrow it, Kevin, you can. I own the 4K re-release. The recent release one, yeah. All right. Go ahead and give another 40 seconds or so. Any more suggestions, make sure you get those in. Nadia's got the most. She might get another one tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So got to make sure. All righty. I'm not seeing any more. Give it about 20 more seconds. Anything you can think of. Throw it on there. Now's your chance. I'm not limiting how many you can submit. Come on. 10 seconds. You guys have got this. Come on. Nadia wins every week at this point. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, she submits like 10 films. And everyone else submits like 3, maybe 2. So it's like, that's why she's going to keep winning. You got to come prepared.
There could be a dethrone, maybe, this week.
You never know. Alrighty, we'll go ahead and stop it there. No more submissions. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Righty. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these up here.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I went first last week, so you go first this week.
Sounds good.
Let's do it.
Spin it for me.
And Kevin has to watch a respin.
My pick.
My pick. It's your pick for me.
Woo! I win.
That's not how it works, Kevin. We respin. And Kevin has to. Oh my gosh.
Me again.
If it gets a third one for you,
let's do it.
I will let you pick your own movie.
Okay.
If it gets a third one.
Oh, that was pretty close.
That was pretty close. Batman and Mr. Freeze, Sub-Zero. Okay. You're getting another Jose pick this week.
That's okay.
Alrighty. And I'll go ahead and actually remove that from there. Alrighty. And I will have to watch this week. I'm going to guess it's going to be a Nadia movie.
Oh.
No, 2 Jose picks this week. I get to watch Glory.
Dethroned.
Well, not dethroned. Nadia still has the most. But it's just a week without getting picked.
Her streak has ended. There we go. Her streak has ended.
Alrighty, so we got Kevin watching Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero. We can actually just in a minute check out where that is.
Which I'm excited about because I like animated Batman movies a lot more than the live action sometimes.
Right, let's go ahead and see here. Letterboxd, Batman and Mr. Freeze. That's not how you spell Mr. Freeze. Batman and Mr. Freeze, Sub-Zero, 1998. It is not on any services, so you are going to have to rent it, unfortunately, Kevin.
That's okay.
Looks like it is just over an hour, so not too bad. Whereas I have to watch Glory.
How long is that one? Isn't that like 3 hours or something?
Maybe I'm thinking of something else, because Glory is only 2 hours. Maybe there's a longer version I'm thinking of. I don't know. Or like an extended version. Mm-hmm. But, yeah. Really interesting. Yeah, I do want to check this one out. It's actually on the list of movies I need to watch for research for upcoming stuff. So,
Nadia.
Jose is happy, and Nadia is demanding a Repsin. I don't know what a Repsin is, but a respin. Okay, yeah, Gettysburg is the one that's over 4 hours. I was confusing the two. They're both Civil War movies, so that's what I was confusing.
Gettysburg was the one that went to theaters, and it was actually really good, wasn't it? Like really highly claimed.
Yeah, I believe it's very much.
So. No respin, take your loss.
Hey, Nadia is still the reigning champ, though, of pure number of movies picked. So, hey, I'm not going to argue with that. But awesome. Well, we have our movies that we are going to be watching for next week. No. But anyhow, that's going to be it for today's show. Kevin, the planned part of the show. But Kevin, anything that you're watching? I know you said you're trying to finish up Fallout right now.
Fallout, and then actually doing some cloud gaming for Fallout 4 because I heard that was the best one. So I just started. I haven't really put too much time into it. I heard it's the second best one, but it's the
easiest one to play if you've never played one before.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then Fallout 3 or New Vegas, I would say. New Vegas is the best of them all, but that's purely from like a storytelling point of view.
Yeah. But. So try to get into that. Haven't really. I maybe have done like an hour into it. sorry, Matt.
Reigning champion.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, she comes prepared. Like Nadia does her homework. She literally brings a list of movies every single time, and I respect the hell out of that.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, she does, and she just copy pastes everything.
Well, started watching Gotham, the TV show. Oh yeah, I've heard pretty good things about it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Gettysburg was originally set to be a TV series, but it was decided to make it into a movie. Okay,
maybe that's where I think I've heard it from then.
Yeah, it's definitely a long one for sure. But anyhow, so Fallout, you said you're playing Fallout 4. Anything else you got going on?
No, I mean, had a job interview today.
I don't
know how that went. So we'll see.
You don't know how it went? You didn't feel good or bad or anything afterward?
No, not really. It was like right in the middle. It's like, oh, I sucked at this part and then was good at other parts. So I don't know.
Well, hey, we'll see. You know what? It is what it is.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you afterward.
Okay.
But as far as I go, I mean, you heard what I've been doing. I've been watching a lot of movies over the last week, so I already talked about those. I already finished Fallout, so not really doing that. I started playing Dead Island 2 because it entered on Game Pass.
Game to. Okay.
Yeah, just an Game Pass. I wanted to give it a shot, but I don't know if I'm going to keep going with it. Still trying to get some reading done, and then I got some other projects that I'm working on that I want to get going. So can't talk about them just yet because I don't know if they're going to happen or not. But
you going to go see a movie this weekend, possibly?
I mean, most likely. I'm definitely going to go try and see Challengers. I wanted to go see the like early showing. Like, they think they did it tonight, where there's an early access showing. But obviously, we have the live stream, so I couldn't go. So I'm definitely going to see Challengers and definitely going to see Boy Kills World. Both of those look really interesting to me. So I want to go check those out. So Matt Wallace started playing 7 Days to Die. Interesting.
Isn't that PS4 exclusive?
No, it's on Xbox as well.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay.
Zombie survival game. It gets harder after the 7 days, I believe. So kind of like a Minecraft survival type thing, but a little bit more realistic looking. From what I remember, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similar games, but 7 Days to Die is pretty cool. But alrighty. Well, hey, another week, another fun show, talking about fun stuff, hanging out with fun people. Thank you all so much for joining us. As always, we do have our movie club episode coming out this week, so make sure you're subscribed so you can see it. We did cover Vertigo last week, and this week we are covering Bicycle Thieves, which is a 1948 Italian film. Very interesting discussion we get to have on that one, so make sure you're on the channel and you see that when that goes live on Friday. And then obviously we'll be back here, same place, same time on Monday next week. We don't really go anywhere, so we're here. We'll be here hanging out. This week was rigged. Everyone can say that about every week that you've won, so it's only fair.
I want my money back. Where's the money?
Yeah, we didn't see.
Wait, you're getting
money? Any money?
It's just like that. We Meet the Millers one.
I'm really concerned that she's losing money.
Yeah.
Like, who's taking it from her?
Well, you've seen the Meet the Millers meme where it's like, you're getting $1 million. I'm only getting $500,000. You're getting $500,000. I'm getting $20,000. You guys are getting paid.
Yeah. Oh man.
I love that one.
But what is going on? Alrighty, everyone, have a great rest of the night. Hope you have a fantastic week, and we will see you all next week, same time, same place, here for the live stream. And and as always, keep those eyes on the screen.
Yep.